Welcome to Stories from the Center of the Universe, the podcast about the human experience.
William Flippen, welcome to the Center of the Universe.
Thank you for having me.
I guess we should say that we have two William Flippens here today. One goes by William, you, and then the other one goes by Kevin. But Kevin's full name is William Kevin Flippen.
Yep.
So I'm graced by both William Flippens today.
He couldn't think of any other name, so he just went with William. And then I did the same thing with my firstborn.
No. So is he the third?
No, I'm not a second.
Oh, that's right.
Different middle names.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but
so
Brody.
What is your middle name?
Perkins.
Perkins. That's a solid name.
Yeah.
I like that. Where'd that come from?
Some member of my family, I don't know, back in some kin to me.
Okay.
When I was born, and they would name you after people, the members of your family.
Well, where were you born?
Born in Buckingham County.
Now, where is Buckingham relative to Richmond?
About 60 miles, right over 60.
Okay. It's almost west or southwest out of town.
Going west.
Okay.
Towards Farmville, right?
Yes.
So foothills of the mountains kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't born over that close to the mountains. I was born back closer to the James River.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, it's a pretty rural county even now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did your parents do for a living?
Well, my father used to set off charges in a slate mine. I reckon you would call him a powder monkey.
That's hard work, right?
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, but back when he was doing it, you drilled a hole with a star chisel and a big sledgehammer. You didn't have no power tools.
Yeah, everything was manual.
Yeah.
You had nothing powered back then.
Yeah.
And you're dropping dynamite charges down in there, I'm guessing.
Yes. Well, see, in the slate quarry, you take out slate in great big
Chunks.
huge chunks of slate. And then they got a mill house over there with big saws. That they could do anything with slate that you could do with a piece of wood.
Man. Wow. They're not still doing that today, are they?
Oh, yeah. People mill furniture and different stuff over there.
Really? So when I'm thinking of slate, I'm thinking of like the blue slate.
Yeah, well, they make blackboards and stuff in schools and all of the slate.
Gotcha. And you were born in the house you grew up in, I'm guessing?
No, I was born in Buckingham and grew up in the city of Richmond.
Okay.
How'd that happen?
Well, the Depression hit, and there wasn't no work in Buckingham, so my dad come down to Richmond and work for a week, come home on the weekends, and after a year or so of that, he decided to move us from Buckingham to Richmond.
And when you say us, how many siblings do you have?
I have 7 sisters and 5 brothers.
What number are you?
About 8.
Oh, my goodness. How many of y'all are still around?
I got 2 brothers and a sister still.
Wow. You're number 8 out of
13.
13. That's a lot going on in that house. How much older was the oldest than you?
Let's see, it was 2, 4, 6.
You didn't know there'd be math involved.
8 and 9 years older.
Okay.
I said you didn't know there's going to be math involved tonight.
So what was it like growing up with that many siblings?
I don't know. I never knew anything different, so I figured it was just normal.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, were all of y'all there in the house at the same time when you first moved to Richmond? Or was just 8 of you?
8, no, there was one but 5 of us there when we moved to Richmond.
Okay.
But my oldest 5 sisters had already got married and moved out.
Moved out of the house. So what's the highest number of people that lived in the house in Richmond at any one time?
10.
10 people. How many bedrooms in that house?
1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms.
4 bedrooms. So it was 2 or 3 people in each bedroom.
And 1 bath.
Y'all shared 1 bathroom. Did you? I'm not trying to be funny. Y'all had running water and you had plumbing worked.
Yeah. Well, the first house we moved to when we moved to Richmond, the John was in the backyard.
Like an outhouse.
Yeah.
So you had an outhouse
Yeah, in the city, on Fairmount Avenue,
in the city.
in the city.
What year are we talking about?
42.
42. Man. So you didn't have plumbing that covered.
We had one sink in the kitchen, and that was it.
And no running water to the bathroom?
Well, we didn't have. I told you, it had an outdoor job.
I'm talking about taking a shower, though.
We take a bath.
We didn't
in
take
a
showers.
zinc tub.
So, and y'all had to heat the water up
Oh yeah,
in the kitchen.
yeah.
That's rough living for kids these days. Your grandkids, Kevin's kids, they wouldn't know what to do with any of that.
No, they wouldn't. Absolutely not. They would.
Well-
But to your point, though, you didn't know any better.
No, I didn't.
So
I had never known it. Like I said, I think I was about 5 years old when I seen the first light bulb. I'd only known an oil lamp,
Yeah.
and I went to visit my uncle, and his son had built a Delco system for him, and he had an electric light. We got it behind his whip because we wouldn't leave that light alone.
You were fascinated by it.
Yeah, oh yes,
it's like magic.
yes.
So you had an outhouse. You were in a zinc tub for a bath.
Yeah.
And you had oil lamps. Yeah. And that's how y'all made it happen.
Well, now, in the city of Richmond, we did have one light bulb hanging in the middle of each room.
Okay.
And I think they had they had to put something in his socket to plug the radio in if you want to play the radio.
Man.
No outlet, no receptacles or nothing.
So you were born in the late 30s, and your parents were feeling the effects of the Depression
Oh, yes.
when you were born. And so he had to move because nothing was going on in Buckingham. They closed the
Slate quarry.
slate
down.
quarry down, yeah.
But
What did he do when he came to Richmond?
he went to work first for sand and gravel place. I can't remember the name of it. But he didn't work there but just a little while, and he went to work for Richmond Engineering.
What did they do?
Well, back then they were building all kinds of stuff for the war.
Yeah, because you were in elementary school when the war was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What year was kindergarten a thing when you went to school? Was kindergarten a thing? So you started first grade.
First grade.
And how old were you when you started? 5, 6?
6 years old.
All
That's
right.
when I moved. My daddy moved us down one Saturday, and I went to school Monday morning.
And you didn't know a soul besides your siblings.
No, besides my sister, we lived next door to her, but and that was it.
What did you do as a little kid? How did you spend your time when you weren't doing what your mom and dad told you to do?
Shooting baubles and just doing most anything, you know. Like I said, we had a lot of chores we had to do. My daddy gave you we had an old coal stove, and we had to make sure that all the had coal in there, stuff like that. All the
So there was plenty of work to do for the whole family. Plenty of work.
yes, plenty of work, and we one of us washed dishes, and the other one dried them, and we cleaned the table after dinner. My mama would fix it, but that was the end of her job. We took care of cleaning the table, and so.
Well, that's payback for her since she had 13 of y'all.
That's a good point. So what happens in that household when you're 6 and you don't do what you're supposed to do? I mean, was your mom, was it a good cop, bad cop kind of situation, or it was just...
So if they disagreed, they never showed it in front of us.
Oh, that's good.
They made sure that, they went off. So
Well, one of you did something wrong. Who came down on you?
my daddy.
Your dad? Your mom wouldn't?
Well, my mama would if he weren't around, but
All right.
Most of the time she would say, "You just wait till your daddy gets home."
Yeah.
And you didn't want Dad to get home that day.
I don't know. He punished you, but I don't think I ever got a whipping I didn't deserve. So.
Did you get the belt or switches or hands?
Belt.
Yeah, that's rough.
It was a razor strap cut into 9 tails.
Woo!
Yeah, I bet you didn't get that much.
No.
That's called an attention getter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got your attention. And the way you got a whipping was you take that chair and you lean over it and grab hold of the bottom of the table. So your behind was really exposed.
Right. How many times you reckon he did that to you?
Oh, Lord. Too many times to count.
All right. Well, okay, let's go down that road then. What's can you remember being one of the things that you did to deserve one of those whippings? Tell us a good story.
I wish I could remember that. I mean, I got so many. But I don't know.
Getting in trouble at school kind of thing, and then
Well, yeah, I stayed in trouble at school.
Why is that?
I just didn't want to behave, I reckon.
Did you like school?
Nope.
Did you have a favorite subject?
Math.
Okay. Do you have a least favorite?
English.
You sound like me.
So I can't spell a lick, so
Well, so one of the pieces of advice that you gave us, that you said your dad gave you was about school. Well, not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's smart. But everybody can behave.
yeah. So
Right.
don't come home with bad conduct.
Yeah, if you come home with bad grades, we'll work on it. With bad conduct.
Well, to your dad's point, you could control your conduct.
Yeah.
You can't always control the grades you're going to get.
Yeah. But so did y'all, when you were, how old were you did you have a curfew like in the summertime because you were in the city, right?
Oh yeah, we were supposed to be home, and school was out in the house by 9:00.
Okay. That's not a street light thing. That's a 9 o'clock.
9:00.
Even when you got older, as a teenager?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, even when I was 18, 20 years old, it was rare that I was over around 11:30 at the most.
Give me a better idea what part of town you grew up in. You said Fairmont. I don't know where that is. Is that...
You know where 9 Mile Road and 25th Street runs together?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Fairmount Avenue is right there.
Gotcha.
It runs from 25th Street down to Mosby.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so the city back then,
Yeah.
nothing like it is now.
Fairmount Christian Church used to be there on the corner of 23rd and Fairmount Avenue. The Fairmount Baptist Church was at 21st Street in Fairmount Avenue.
Is that where you went to church as a kid?
I went to Fairmount Christian Church.
Okay. Right on. What's the difference between Fairmount Christian and Fairmount Baptist? Was Christian more like non-denominational kind of thing?
No, Christian was more, I think you would say it's contemporary, where the Baptists back then were more fundamentalists.
Yeah.
They weren't dancing, they weren't drinking back then, probably. I changed all that when I grew up.
Oh, yeah, well, like I said, they got kind of liberal there at the end. They started speaking to one another in the ABC store.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's a really good one.
So let me ask you this then. Did you enjoy growing up in the city?
Oh, yes.
What about it did you enjoy? What did you like about it?
Well, like I said, they had a nice playground. They had tennis courts, basketball courts, horseshoe pits, baseball, nice softball diamond, Lux Field.
Did you play a lot of sports?
No.
But you were good at it.
No.
No?
No. But the only thing I was good at, I could shoot horseshoes pretty good, but the basketball stuff, I played it when I had to have phys ed in school. But I don't know. I never had a real interest in sports. I don't know. I know you enjoy sports, but
I'm weird.
whatever we played for money. We was always gambling.
Okay.
To include marbles. Were you gambling on marbles
Yes.
when you played marbles?
Yes. I was a state champion.
State
What?
champion. Wait a minute.
How did that work?
How do you become the state champion?
I beat out the boys in Chesterfield, Hanover,
What?
10 record.
So this was a real tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It was. I went to Washington and played in Washington.
For the Nationals.
Yeah.
You're not kidding. I thought you were just like declared yourself the state champion, but you actually won the state tournament.
Somewhere in the stuff around my house now, there's an article.
Oh, we need to find that.
Yeah, how old were you?
About 10 years old.
That's cool. So marbles is a huge thing back then.
Oh, yeah. I had 2 or 3 nail kegs full of marbles.
All right, so you got to tell us, how do you play marbles back then? How did you play?
How did I play?
Yeah,
How
I mean,
do you play?
what are the rules of the game?
Oh, well, like I said, you draw up a ring, and then you would shoot the marble to a line. Whoever was closest got to shoot first.
Okay. And then was it about, like, was there a main marble and then it was whoever got the closest to it kind of thing?
Yeah, well, like I said, if you shoot first, they were all in a big huddle, the marbles were.
Right.
And then you'd have to try to break your thing up, sort of like pool, and see if you get one of them out of the ring.
Oh, I got you.
You're trying to knock the other marbles out
Out
of the ring.
ring.
And what is it? Until they're all gone, that's when the game's
Yeah.
over. And if you got more than I did, you win. And your marble, it's like a cue ball situation. Like your marble is.
No, I didn't. Some people used to have a great big marble they shot with. I just shot with a regular marble.
Well, wouldn't it great big would have been better? That's like an advantage, wouldn't it? No.
I never found out where it was for me, anyway,
And,
Maybe it was
and-
hard.
And you would put it on your thumb like that and flick it?
on the side.
Yeah. You got really good at it.
Oh, yeah,
Where did you practice?
in the schoolyard.
Okay. So you played on dirt, you could play it on
But
sidewalks?
dirt mostly.
Really?
Well, most people don't shoot in a big ring, but when we were shooting marbles for championships, you use a 5-foot ring.
So it was like a professional sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Do people play marbles today anywhere? We got to bring it back if they don't.
Yeah, like I said, it's a good game. I used to wear it on the knees of my.
Because you're getting low to the ground.
Yeah,
It's not like you're firing something
You're
from
down
your...
on your knees most of the time.
I got you. It's almost like you're rolling it. You're not bouncing it.
No,
You got to roll it.
your knuckles on the ground and you shooting.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Maybe we can do a YouTube video, an instructional video
On how to play marble.
of how to play marbles.
I wonder how many likes that would get.
More than you and I normally get.
That's a good point.
So how old were you when you finished going to school?
I quit when I was 16.
Quit. You just said, I've had enough.
Nope, I sat down and figured out one day I'd be 21 years old if I did graduate. So
Your favorite subject was math, so you figured it out. All right, well, so what did you do then? What was your plan?
go to work. I was already working, riding telegrams for the Western Union.
Okay.
And I started doing it. I was just doing it a couple nights a week, and then when I quit school, I went to work for them full time. And if you stayed with the Western Union back in and went back to school and got a GED and all, they would guarantee you a job with one of the companies around town, whether it be a bank or whatever.
That's a really good deal.
Yeah.
So you went back and got your GED?
No,
You didn't?
No.
When were you delivering papers?
When I was 12.
12. Okay. Was that the first job you did?
I done it from the time I was 12 till about 16 years old.
All right.
So-
How was that? Tell us a story about that. There has to be some good stories about delivering papers.
Well, one road I had 3 bootleggers in a house of ill repute.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, everybody reads the paper.
This is the part of town you were describing earlier.
Yeah.
Did they ever?
Did the police know the bootleggers were there?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knew they were there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could watch them paying the police off every Saturday down at the service station. I mean, they pull up in there and the man would slip them a few dollars and
Off they went.
Everybody's on the same page, I guess, back then.
Did they ever invite you in?
oh yeah, them old girls would say, "Come on in, you darling. We're gonna take you."
I'm 12.
I'm scared to death of you. Just-
Right. I'm 53 and I'm scared to death.
Right, yeah. No kidding.
All right, so you quit school and had your siblings finish high school? Had some of them finish high school and some of them didn't? I'm trying to figure out how your parents reacted to you quitting.
Well, my oldest brother was the only one that actually finished school. He graduated. He went to John Marshall and was in the Cadet Corps.
He was serious.
Yeah.
George?
George, he got his GED in service.
Okay.
He was in the Navy
Okay.
for 4 years, and while he was in there, he went back to school. And
So
Can you name all your siblings?
See, I wasn't going to go there. But go ahead. Can you name all your siblings?
oh yeah, my oldest brother was Luther, then John, then George, Margie, me, Donald, Bubby, Dame Marie. That's my mama's family.
That's
name
8.
was.
Yeah, that's 8.
And my 5 sisters is Fanny, Sonata, Lucy, Elizabeth, and which one did I miss? Edith.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Now, why was Bubby Bubby? None of the other boys were named Bubby. Because Bubby was short for brother, right?
I don't know. He went off and stayed the summer up in the country with my cousins, and when he come back, his name was Bubby.
Oh,
It's Robert.
okay.
His
So-
name is actually Robert. Robert Arlington.
Arlington, yeah.
Sounds like a very serious name.
He still lives in the area, too.
Oh, does he?
Travis's son. How many sons did he have?
2
Yeah.
sons.
Bubby Jr.
Bubby
Travis.
Jr.
Yeah, there's a
Rob.
little Bubby.
It's a
Little Bubby.
it's a lot of Bubby going on.
Yeah.
So when you quit, who was the first person you told that you were quitting high school or quitting school?
Well, I talked to my daddy, and he said, "Well, boy, if but if you quit school, you going to work.
Yeah, no sitting around the house.
No, ain't gonna be none of that. If you don't work, you don't put your feet underneath my table." So,
Sounds right. All right, so you delivered papers for a while. You did the Western Union thing. What would you consider your first job where you're like I might make a career out of this?
I went to work for my brother-in-law doing heating and air conditioning.
So you could do anything today with heating and air conditioning?
I still do a little, but I ain't climbing around the attics and stuff no more. But I retired from the local union in 1999, and I worked for the next 20 years for a contractor down in the fan that I designed, and me and my wife put them in. Systems.
How old were you when you met your bride?
17 years old.
Where'd y'all meet? Tell us that story.
All right, well, I was carrying a friend of mine down to the telephone company to pick his girlfriend up. and it was raining, and this little gal run across the street.
And when you say little, you mean little.
Tiny.
4'11", weighed about 90 pounds.
You thought it was like a 10-year-old.
No. But anyway, I rolled down the window and said, "Lady, you got this stuff coming out the ring?" And she just gave me some kind of remark, but I started talking to her, and I asked her for a phone number, and she gave it to me. So, and I talked to her a couple of times, and I finally asked her to go out. She said she would, but when I come to the front door to pick her up the first time, she said, "I had no idea what you looked like."
She couldn't see you. That night in the rain, she couldn't see you.
She didn't see me, evidently, but she said, "I have no idea what you look like."
Well, that's some kind of higher power at work there.
Right.
For her to give a phone number to somebody she couldn't see. I mean, that's not, you know what I mean?
But I had a whole lot of gift of gab back then.
I was going to say, you were probably a ladies' man back then.
You must have. You must have. You talked her into a phone number.
So I know your wife who passed away recently as Nettie. What did you call her back then?
Nettie.
She's always been known as Nettie.
Well, no, they called her Dude.
Peaky.
Huh?
Peaky.
Yeah, they called her all kind of names,
Yeah.
but
When you say they, we're talking about her friends or
her family.
Yeah. But did you come up with Nettie?
No, that was her name.
Okay.
That's what.
That's her real name.
Well, that's what her parents called her.
Yeah.
Like named her at birth.
Yep.
Nettie Yvonne
Doyle.
Flippen. Doyle.
Yeah, don't forget the Doyle part.
Yeah.
How do you spell Nettie? I should know this. answer.
Nettie.
Okay. All right. That's how I would have spelled it.
Yeah.
I've never written a letter to your wife.
No, well,
But if I had, I would have spelled it like that.
You would have. That's good. So I got a question. So you start seeing each other and find out she's from Craigsville.
yeah.
What was the first experience of you meeting her family in Craigsville like?
Well, went out a couple of times, and I had a mustache, and I had ducktails and a little curl down the front, and she was describing what I looked like to her mom and them in the mountains, and her grandmother. And she wanted to go up there for Mother's Day, so I said, "I'll carry you up there."
How long have y'all been dating at this point?
Probably a month or so.
Okay.
And anyway, I went home that night, and combed my hair different, and shaved off my mustache.
Because you wanted to be presentable.
Everybody up there was dressed with blue jeans and engineer boots and plaid shirts and stuff. And
They grew up in the mountains.
yeah, well,
That's what you wear in the mountains, I guess.
well, I went up in a peg pants and the blue suede shoes and a red shirt. So.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that'd do it.
And they knew you were from the city of Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They didn't know what to make of that, did they?
No, they were all looking at me like I had something.
Did you get along with them right away?
Oh, yeah, I got along. I've never had a whole lot of trouble getting along with people. I mean, I had one man up there tell me he was going to kick my ass one time, but I asked him, "What you think I'm going to be doing while you kicking my ass?"
Oh, good.
He got to laughing. He said, I said, "Where I come from, we don't stand around let you beat on us."
Right.
Now, was it rough growing up in the streets in Richmond? You getting a lot of fights?
Oh yeah, we scrapping all the time, but you get a bloody nose, a couple black eyes, and busted lip, but
That's it.
that was hard. But the worst I ever got hurt. Got to scrapping one night, and the guy wrapped a bicycle chain around my neck, and that thing come around, popped me in my lip, busted it open. I chased him for 2 blocks, but I couldn't catch him.
Why were you getting in so many scraps? Is that just what kids did back then?
Yeah. all people.
Were you scrapping over girls or just anything?
I made that mistake once. I didn't make it. Well, me and a boy got in a couple of disagreements, but if a girl don't want nothing to do with you, beating up on a boyfriend ain't gonna help. I can tell you.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna help you.
No.
Were there any weapons besides the bicycle chain?
No. I had a little kid's baseball bat I had to work on. I still got that little bat.
Did you have like a pocket knife or something?
Oh yeah, I just carry a switchblade, but
Did you ever use it?
didn't have to. Thank goodness. Everything. If the person hear a click, most of the time they were gone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would imagine you weren't pulling that out very often. You'd
No.
rather just throw some
As a
hands.
matter of fact, I was afraid I might do something, so I give it to my mama. It's still there at the house.
Who was the toughest brother of the Flippen brothers? Who's the one you would least want to get into a fight with?
George.
Why is that?
I seen him hit a man so hard one night, broke his jaw in 2 or 3 places.
Were all the Flippen boys scrapping like that?
Most of them.
So nobody messed with the Flippen boys?
No, and if one of them was getting whipped up on, the other ones better help him. If he didn't, he got home, the old man gonna whip his ass.
Well, that's good. You stuck together.
Yes.
Any of the Flippen girls getting into scraps?
Oh, Lord, yeah. My sister Marjorie, she could wrestle with me and she could beat me up until I was a teenager.
Well.
But
Did any of them not fight?
I don't know if anybody didn't.
You don't know of any. Huh? You said you don't know of any that did. Well, you know them all, so. Was your dad a scrapper?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He put on the gloves with you, too.
Okay.
Because I used to fool with him. One time I'd pop him on the arm a couple of times. Said, "Come on, old man, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes of rough treatment here." And he told me, "Boy, don't bother me. I don't feel like it tonight." And I popped him another time, and he popped me, and I went through the door.
The end of that.
Now, for me, John, he jumped up. He said, "Yeah, old man, just playing." The old man tapped him.
Well, he was the boss.
Well, let's go back to you meeting Nettie's family. How big was Nettie's family?
She had 2 sisters, 2 brothers.
Okay, so there were 5 of them, and they lived in. They grew up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And do you remember meeting her mom and dad?
Oh, yeah.
Did they like you right away, or were they a little standoffish?
Well, I don't think he ever called. I was from the city, and I don't think he liked that much. But
you were born in the country.
I was born in the country, but that's another thing. Everybody just assumed that if you grew up in the city, you didn't know how to work.
Yeah.
That was wrong back then. Everybody had to work hard back then, right?
I know I went up at the first. We hadn't been married too long, and her mother wrote a letter because they didn't have a whole lot of phones. If you did, they were long distance. So they would write one another just about every week. And she said they're going to cut slab wood up for the wood stove, cook stove. So come on up. So we went up, and my father-in-law said, "Boy, I'm going to work you till your tongue's hanging out tomorrow." I said, "Well, let's go at it." So we got up the next morning, and my wife said, "You'd like to have something?" "I'd like to have a couple pieces of toast or something." "And you want a cup of coffee?" I said, "Yeah." I don't know what is it? Louisiana with chicory or something is the name of the coffee. She brought a cup of coffee in there, and I took some carnation milk, put a couple of drops in it, And most of the time, that thing would lighten up any kind of coffee. It ain't phase that coffee.
It was strong.
It was. You could stand the spoon up in it almost. But anyway, they got it down. They had an old John Deere tractor with a power takeoff and come out the side and a table saw in the back of it. They had me, the slab pile was all messed all up, and you had to straighten them out. For the first hour or so, they was hollering, "Come on, boy, get them things in there. We're waiting on you or something." After I got that pile about half straight, I was hollering at them. What's holding y'all up? So
they were just testing you a little bit, I think.
Yeah, well, anyway, my father-in-law, went in for lunch. He said, "Boy, I think you cut some slabs before." My old man cut more slabs with an old 8-mile car and a table saw. And he would put it back in that old 8-mile up on blocks and run a belt across the back tire to the table saw.
Genius.
And
Wow.
I mean,
That's crazy.
that thing would, and he had a big old 55-gallon drum out front to keep it cool down.
Yeah. What are your fondest memories of being in your 20s? When you were 20-something, do you have any fond memories when you were in your 20s?
Oh, yeah, well.
The 50s. The
And
late
if
50s.
Oh, Lord, yeah, I had a lot of good memories. But, well, like I said, when I was 17 years old, I met a young lady out in Chesterfield, and I dated her for about 18 months and engaged to her for about 6. But that didn't work out, so.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, how old were you when you married Nettie?
I was 21.
Okay.
So
Good.
go ahead, Bob.
Couldn't wait to get married.
Was that late?
Because that seems young to me.
Oh, to us it is, for sure.
Well, I asked Nettie to marry me in about September of when I was 20 years old. And she said, "No, I don't think I'm ready to get married yet." So, well, dear, I asked you once. I won't be asking you no more. So, this was in September. And in December, I didn't date her no more. After I asked her, she said she wasn't interested. That I went my way, she went hers. So, in December, she called me and said, "Would you like to go Christmas shopping?" So, yeah, I'll carry you Christmas shopping. So,
Where did y'all go Christmas shopping at?
Willow Lawn, it just opened up.
Okay.
And we were walking around through Willow Lawn, and she said, "You remember what you asked me?" I said, "Yeah, you remember what I told you? I ain't going to ask no more." She said, "What if you still want to get married?" 2 weeks later, we were married.
Y'all don't waste any time.
Good gracious. 2 weeks later.
Did you get married at the church?
No, in Parsonage,
Okay.
the preacher's parsonage up in the mountains.
So how many people came to the wedding?
We had a double wedding with her brother and his wife, and her father and mother, and one of her brother and his wife. It was about 6 of us that time.
Okay.
Your parents didn't come?
No, they were down here, and my father had a stroke. My father was in the bed with a stroke. But
Why so quick?
well, like I said, I might have changed my mind.
You needed to get to it right away, or
Yeah.
things could have changed.
Yeah, well, like I said, we went together for 3 years before we was ever married. And we'd go together for a while, and then I'd go my way and she'd go hers. So,
All right. Well,
But y'all were married a long time.
63 years.
It's a long time.
yeah, that is a long time.
10 years longer than Kevin's been alive.
Absolutely. So how long did it take before y'all were thinking about kids?
Well, I never done used a whole lot of contraceptives in the thing, but I knew I wanted kids, and your mama did too. So it wasn't a matter of what; it's just when it was going to happen.
Yeah. And it happened.
Yes, it happened. Teresa was born.
What year was that?
She was born in 1960. Yeah, it's 1960.
60. Yeah. Yeah.
June 25th.
How did you like being a dad and having a baby?
Well, they kept me to the draft anyway.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
So if you were a student or you were a parent, it kept you out of the draft.
Parent.
Parent, got it.
I was A1, and I remember we was married, and Teresa was born, and Nettie went to the mailbox one Saturday, and here she come back holding this little, like something was going to bite her or something. What in the world? From the draft board. So, but it had reclassified me as 4A.
And 4A meant you weren't going to go into the service.
No, it didn't mean that. It just means that I would be
Way down the bottom
all
of
the A1s and A2s and so forth would go for I would.
I got you.
So you still could have gone
Oh, yeah.
if things had gotten worse.
Yeah, well, I went down and took the test for the join the Air Force when I was 18. And they was 4 of us in there taking the test. Put one in each corner, and the guy that passed through the test and all, he said, now, I don't want no smoking, I don't want no talking, and y'all stay in your area right there where you're supposed in there. So I'll be over here if you need to ask any questions. So that test was 3.5 hours long. And I don't know, one of the boys got up to go ask him a question. He couldn't find him.
He was gone.
He was gone somewhere. I don't know where it was.
Probably outside smoking.
Maybe. But anyway, he, instead of going back to his corner, he just sat up in the middle of the classroom and started smoking. And another boy got up and went up there to ask him a question. He couldn't find him, so there they were in there talking and smoking and so forth. And that guy come back in there and grabbed up all the tests. That's it. And y'all sit down over there. I'm gonna grade these tests. So he come back and said, here, I want you to sign this. So what am I signing here? Well, you're gonna enlist. And he had been, meantime, he done laid a cussing on us you wouldn't believe. I told him, now, pal, let me tell you something. You draft my behind, I might have to listen to this crap. But I ain't gonna volunteer for it. I got news for you. I don't listen.
Yeah.
I ain't never had nobody talk to me like that in my life. But he said, y'all have done real well on the test.
How did you react the first time a drill sergeant got into your butt?
You just got to know it's all part of the game they're playing. That's all it is.
So you just kind of like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. He's not going to do anything that he's going to regret.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You said they won't do nothing? I've heard some awful tales about them people, them drill sergeants.
Well, back in the day before I joined the military, yeah, they did some things that they couldn't get away with these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when you were drafted. The volunteer army is a whole lot different than when.
That's right. Draftees are a little, doing a bunch of people not wanting to be there. It's a different culture, different environment.
Well, I would imagine it would be. Yeah. So you avoided the military.
Yes.
At this point, though, you were fully working as a sheet metal worker, though, weren't you?
Yeah.
When Teresa was born, you were already every day going. Now, was your wife working, my mom? Or no? Because Teresa was there.
Well, she went back to work after Teresa was born for a while. But then it got to where, Teresa, the doctor let your mama lay in labor for 24 hours, and he didn't take the baby. So when Teresa was born, when they smacked her on the behind, she didn't start crying, so the oxygen didn't get to her brain. And that part of it never did develop. That's what happened to Teresa.
Wow.
So she was almost 2 years old when she passed.
Yeah, 23 months.
Yeah.
Why would the doctor not try to take her earlier?
I don't know. I have no idea. And Teresa was born and she was having seizures. We didn't know what they were. And they said they didn't know what it was. So finally, I carried her to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And the doctor up there, we had no sooner got in her office and Teresa had a seizure. And she says, how long has she been having them seizures? I said, that's what it is? She said, yeah. Well, I didn't know what it was. Nobody in Richmond ever told me. But that lady told me and my wife that if we wanted to sue that doctor at Richmond Memorial Hospital at the time, in medical college, she said, I'll be glad to testify for you. Well, they ain't gonna help my daughter, is it? So, no, but now I wish I had her because they probably done some other people same way he does us.
Oh, guarantee it. Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know people should pay for whatever they do wrong, but they just monitor stuff is not. That ain't gonna do nothing. We all gonna pay.
Well, Flippen Memorial Regional Hospital sounds pretty good, though.
Huh? Flipping, yeah.
You probably could have owned it, yeah.
So then what? So now you're in the mid 60s, and were you thinking about having another?
Well, they told me and your mama that somewhere in our background, in our biological parents, there is some history of
Epilepsy?
epilepsy.
Yeah.
So, and the doctor told me and your mama that, y'all can have children and probably never have any more problems. But in your grandchildren, that epilepsy will show up again. And so I told your mama, no, we're not going to have any. I ain't going to put nobody through that. So,
but you wanted to have kids.
oh, yes.
And so the next option was to adopt a child.
Mm-hmm.
And how old was your daughter when you adopted her?
She was 3.5 months. And he was 3.5, 4 months.
Yeah. Denise was 1968, and I was 1969.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got you in November '69, just in time to claim him on my income tax.
Glad I could help you out.
You were a tax benefit to the Flippen
At
household.
least you didn't call me that. That wasn't my name. Tax benefit Flippen.
Well, they might have called you that for the first year or so.
Probably.
That's
My
funny.
little benefit.
So back then, how did an adoption work back then?
Well, we went through the city health and welfare. And I was 2 or 3 people I worked with had adopted children, and it was costing like thousands of dollars to adopt a child.
And back then, that was an unbelievable amount of money.
Yeah. And so we went to the City of Health and Welfare, and we sat down there talking, and a lady asked us, says, "Is there anything in a child that you don't think you would want?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't want no red-headed." And my mom, Nettie went off. There's red hair in my family. Oh, well, there ain't no red hair in my family.
Well, you went the far. Denise there was no chance she was going to be redheaded.
No.
She had olive skin and dark brown hair.
Well, they more or less pick one member of the family, the wife or the husband, and they try to match the color of the skin and get them as close as they can. Because the lady, the caseworker that she brought, was coming to bring Denise out so we'd see her first time. And she rang the doorbell, and Nettie went to the door. Yes, she was real light skinned and blonde hair. So, "Oh, this ain't gonna work." But she said it really was a relief when you come around the corner.
Yeah, because you had jet black hair back then.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they brought Denise to your house.
Yeah.
And you had never seen her before that day. Wow. So they actually selected the child. And how did it work? Like if the baby cried all the time, or the baby started to show some sort of issue that you guys weren't prepared for, didn't matter. She was yours.
Yeah. Well, like I said, everybody, the biological mother has a year to decide whether she's going to give that child up. So, we had Denise for 8 months or so before she signed the final papers.
Mm.
Same thing with Kevin.
Did you meet Kevin's biological mother? Never met.
Never met, no.
Did you have the option to meet him?
No, everything was supposed to be closed, sealed.
If the biological mom wanted to meet the adoptive parents, I imagine
You probably
y'all
could
could
have,
have
but
met, yeah.
That kind of make it hard, I would imagine. Or maybe make it easier for the biological
I think it
mom
depends
to
on the
meet.
personalities
Yeah.
of the people involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know about Kevin's biological mom? You know anything about her?
No, I
Only
never.
what we found out.
The only thing that they ever told me about Kevin's daddy was he was over 6 foot tall and a well-built man. Other than that, that's all I knew about him.
Well, Kevin's tall.
Yeah. I don't know about the well-built. Though.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Maybe you and Aaron Rodgers are related.
Maybe. He could be my younger brother.
A lot younger
A
brother.
lot younger. But didn't they would come back and check, right, to make sure that the
Oh, yeah.
baby had gotten acclimated and everybody was doing fine, right?
Yeah, they done it more so with Denise than they did with you. The only thing they checked really when I adopted you was they checked my finances and all.
Make sure you could support both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had done all the background check on me and your mama and my family with Denise, so they didn't.
They didn't need to do all that. Yeah. That makes sense.
What was Kevin like as a baby?
A little chubby little fella.
Well built.
I find that hard to believe. all of that.
Yeah. I was. Little fat
But
cheeks.
did he cry a lot? Was he?
No. Both of them were real good. I mean, I think we spoiled them, but
Yeah. I'd say. Christmas was always a fun day. Birthdays, yeah. They were, they set a good example.
They went all out.
Yeah. So we try to continue that example that was set. But yeah,
I really surprised them one Christmas with a little mini bike.
Like a little motorcycle.
yeah, 70cc Yamaha.
60 cc Yamaha. Yeah. It will run 65 miles an hour.
Were you living out where you live now?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the house Kevin knows growing up. That's the only house you knew growing up, right? Yeah.
And back then, Innsbruck wasn't nothing but a 300-acre patch of woods.
Yeah. Somebody owned it, and they ended up selling it, and they turned it into an office.
Old man
place.
Knuckles owned the front half of it. And then Sidney Cox owned the back end of it.
Yeah, those are pretty big names in Richmond, Knuckles and Cox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not that I need to tell this part of the story, Burley, but Innsbruck was. Those woods were where we pretty much lived in the summertime. Yeah. And
it was awesome.
But it's a different world, right? So they would go to work, tell us, love you, be careful. And we would go off, and we had our chores to do every Tuesday and Friday. But the other days, Brett lived across the street. Mm-hmm. Denise had friends live up the street. We'd get on our bikes and ride. Man, it was heaven growing up there.
And the neighborhood was basically that one street, and then houses built off that street.
Yeah, but now there's literally out behind his house, probably the 6th hole of wiffle golf. It's gone because they're building. Is it a condo?
It's a mixed-use neighborhood.
Yeah.
This will be an 8-story building.
So retail on the bottom kind of thing, people living above it. Yeah.
Well, there's retail on the bottom, and then it's supposed to be dentist offices and doctor's offices and stuff. Two or three floors. Then the rest of it's going to be condominiums.
50 years ago, you couldn't have imagined any of that, right?
They don't realize the 6 hole's still going to be in their parking lot.
So wait a minute, the golf course went off the property?
It did. I didn't know it did, but apparently it did.
All right, let's talk about wiffle golf. Who came up with wiffle golf?
Oh, jeez.
Mr. Flippen, do you know who came up with wiffle golf? Whose idea it was?
Yours?
Yes, sir.
Well, we certainly enjoyed it. I know that.
So we played the first 2 years
at
my place off Wilkinson Road, north side of it's technically Henrico, but we had a Richmond address. And then for whatever, I think maybe I think
you got married, and I brought it back.
I mean, I'll give you credit for it.
And then we had it in Goochland twice, I think, because one time it was
I played out there a couple
70
times.
degrees out there. And then we moved it to your house. And I think we had it at your house probably at least 10 times.
Oh, yeah. I think we had it over 10 or 12 years.
Yeah, there's quite a few fun stories about you parking people.
Yeah.
Well, before we go into the parking people stuff, what was the first conversation where Kevin said, "Hey, Dad, I want to have a wiffle golf tournament in your yard"? How did that conversation go?
I said, yeah.
He wasn't hard to get along with when it comes to stuff like, because he knew there were going to be people coming over, and he loves to entertain people. So, as you can see, if you ever came to wiffle golf.
Did you ever play?
Yes, I played a couple times.
Okay.
Early on.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed watching my little grandsons out there from golf. And my brother and them would sit there and said, I can't believe him boys can hit that ball like that. I mean, they could hit a golf ball when they were little.
Yeah.
They still can, right?
Yeah, they can still hit it.
Absolutely. We carried Brody when he was 3 years old to play golf.
Well, Kevin loves golf.
Yeah, well, I know he does.
All right, sorry, I interrupted on the parking thing.
No. But before we go back to the parking thing, tell them what you used to do when you would tee off for the first time on 18 holes.
I would address the ball.
He said,
"Hello, ball."
That's how else do you do it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the parking situation. So you had any good stories about that? Because I've got a good one.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember that one. I only had one time, and I don't know what the boy's name was.
We don't either.
You don't?
No, because it was a friend of a friend's friend.
Yeah.
And
so you really don't know?
Don't know who it was.
Anyway, but he come in there and I said, park over here in this way. He said, he pulled on in there and got it. Where are you going? Well, there's a park. No, that ain't no damn parking place. You blocked a half a dozen people in.
He didn't know who he was talking to, did he?
Yeah, well, then he give me a bunch of shit. Oh, wait a minute, Pat. Get back in the car and get the hell out of here. I own this property.
So the friend that I knew and you know, whose friend it was.
What are the initials of the friend?
AY.
Okay, there it is.
Was telling him, yo, be quiet, man. He owns the place. he calmed him down, and the guy realized he was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And he moved his car.
Yeah.
And he stayed. But it was just funny because, I mean, let's be honest. So you're pulling into a house, and there's a man out there with a drink and a hat, and he's telling you to back your car between 12 trees.
Yeah.
I mean,
I park in those trees.
I can see why the guy might have been like, who are you and what am I doing that for? But you probably should be a little more respectful.
Well, at a minimum, respect your elders.
Right.
Because the guy might be the one who owns the property.
He was about to find out if my dad could scrap or not, and I don't think he wanted to. Here, hold my drink. Oh,
was that the story you were going to tell?
Yeah, that was the same story.
Yeah.
No, it used to be fun because he would always start having a few with Kenny next door when we would come over to set it up like at 11 or 12 or whatever, because people didn't start arriving until 2. By the time people started arriving, he'd already had plenty to drink.
What was your drink of choice back then?
Bloody Mary.
It's a fine drink.
All right, now speaking of drinking and golf, tell the story. AY was in this. It was Adrian. Me and Adrian and
I thought
you.
I thought we were going to leave it out there as a mystery for
Well,
a bit.
Adrian, but he's fine with it because
Yep.
he thinks our stories are funny. At Massanutten. Remember that?
Oh, you know, John.
No, the guy that we don't. Yeah, is that the same guy that we didn't know?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell that story.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, he was riding along with me, and I asked him, I said, would you like a drink? He said, well, he got some beer in a little chest. So he wanted a beer, so I drank a beer, and he had a beer, and we were drinking bourbon and chasing it with a beer. And we got around to the 9th hole.
I was going to say, y'all were worthless by the 9th or 10th hole, I'm guessing.
Well, anyway, he done got high as a fart. And he said, I think he teed off on the 10th hole, and he said, I got to go. I'm going to we're doing some pottery, him and his wife. So we played to the back 9, and I come on home and went in, took a shower, and me and my wife was going out somewhere. And here this guy was stumbling around out there in the parking lot. He was across the street. He said, honey, that's that bastard over there. Got me drunk.
He's blaming it on you.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I twisted his arm.
Right. You didn't force him to drink.
I thought, hell, I held a gun on him while he drank, and then he held him up and made me drink.
I can only imagine. We're at Massanutten, right?
Yeah.
They're on vacation. This guy's like, honey, I'm going to go play a quick round of golf, and then we'll go do pottery. Okay, sure. And then he comes back. Oh, boy.
He was in
we were up
trouble.
in Maryland that time.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy, me and Kevin and the guy that Denise was dating, and the three of us, and we got on the first tee, and the guy come walking up and said, well, the pro said,
To play with
me to
us.
join you all. He says, I'm tuning up for a contest next weekend down in Carolinas. I said, well, pal, I don't know about the rest of them, but I don't play well. So he said, oh, that's all right, that's okay. We got up on the first tee. Kevin teed off first.
Did he address the ball?
No, he didn't. He wasn't polite.
Part of my problem.
But anyway, he got up and he got a beautiful drive off right down the middle of the fairway. And the boy that Denise was dating, he got off a good drive. I said, "Bull, damn, yeah, I'm going to have a horrible drive here." And this guy is sitting here watching me getting tuned up. So I got a good drive off, thank goodness. And he got up there and whack. Where the hell did the ball go? I said, "Kevin, you see the ball?" "Yeah, Daddy, I ain't seen the ball." Nobody. I said, "Where'd the ball go?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, damn, I'm going to get a mulligan." So he got up there and whack. And I heard this son of a bitch cussing. And the ball had hooked around and went out in the middle of the damn road out there.
He was tuning up to go from 120 score to 118, sounds like.
I don't know, but it went around to the ninth hole. We were getting ready to play the ninth hole. And we'd all driven off the tee. And he comes walking up a fairway, stepped in a damn hole and twisted his ankle. And Kevin said, Daddy, come over here." And the man kept saying, "I got a low tolerance for pain." I got a low tolerance. Well, what the hell that got to do with anything? Anyway, he said, I said, "Well, you all right?" We helped him up. Yeah, I think I'm going to be okay. So I went on up there to take another
Whack at
my ball. And Kevin hollered, Daddy, what's wrong?" That guy's all flaked out. He done passed out.
Passed out from what?
The pain, I guess.
He said,
What?
pain. He said,
Yeah.
and he said, and Kevin said, "Daddy, what are we going to do?"
How old is Kevin at this point?
I was probably 19.
Oh, okay.
I said, "We're going to hit the ball and drag his ass around."
But instead, I sprinted back to the clubhouse to tell somebody, and they ended up coming to get. When we finished our round, was he in an ambulance or was he?
No, he was driving out.
Oh, he was waving at us. So he was fine. But he fell hard, like he hit a hole, twisted his
He
ankle.
fell flat on his damn face, just passed out.
He was probably about in his 40s. I don't know.
Phil Franks.
He didn't get tuned up very well.
He definitely wasn't tuning up that day.
No.
He was going the wrong direction, whatever the opposite of tuning up is. All right, Kevin, hit your dad with your favorite question.
Oh, good gracious. This ought to be interesting. All right, so when you were growing up, or actually when you were a young adult, who was on? Johnny Carson
Yes.
was on? All right, so imagine you are late night what?
Johnny Carson was on, but then it turned to that guy with all the cars now.
Yeah, Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Jay Leno. All right, so imagine you are a late night talk show host. All right, you got to pick one male, a man to you're interviewing him. You can pick anybody. It can be dead or alive, whoever you want it to be.
Somebody you know, somebody famous, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. A male, a female, a musical group to be on your show, and a comedian.
Male, I would say John Wayne.
Why? Because
He
he's
just-
John Wayne.
Because he's John
the
Wayne.
Duke.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said Marilyn Monroe.
I don't need to ask why there either.
And
Musical group.
Hee Haw. Buck Owens and
Roy Clark.
Clark?
I love that answer. Love that answer.
That's a great answer.
I watch that every Saturday night at my
So
grandmother's
do we.
house. Yeah.
We watch that every Saturday night. And we watch the Dukes of Hazzard every Friday night.
So did I.
All right, comedian.
I think Roger Dangerfield.
Rodney. Really? You like Rodney Dangerfield? All right.
Man, he's a funny dude.
No, I love Rodney Dangerfield. He's hilarious. Hey, I got to. So before we wrap it up, and usually when he wraps it up with talking about his family, maybe we shouldn't tell this story.
Well,
So-
now you got to tell it.
So, I'll tell it. Well, unless you want to. So, remember we were going to, I think I was probably 10 or 11. We were going to go to Disney. And he was going to take us to Disney. Now, I've always known him as, nobody's tougher than your father, right?
Sure. Well,
But
especially your actual father, who was really
Right,
daggone
right.
scrappy. Apparently, would fight over nothing.
But there were never weapons at our house. No, I mean, he had a gun, but it was hidden somewhere.
And it was to protect the house.
Yeah, there was never. I never looked at that as. So, but at the time we were going there, there was somebody out. There was what was going on?
Well, we got down to Savannah, Georgia exit on 95. And this cat, whoever he was, I don't know, he would run up real close to me behind me and like he gonna run into me. Then he would back off and come around and then cut real sharp in front of me. He done it a couple times. And but the second or third time he done it, she was asleep, he was asleep, my daughter was asleep. When I slapped on brakes, my wife woke up. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "This bastard's trying to run me off the road." And she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "Unzip that gun case right there." I had the gun laying up on the dash. Mm-hmm. Unclip it, put that clip in it, and give it to her. So she put the clip in it. I took the safety off and put the shell up in there. Put the safety back on. So when he pulled up next to me the next time, I rolled the window down. That asshole took off. I mean, when he went off that exit, he was, screaming tires and all. And my wife said, "Would you have shot him?" You damn right he shot him. I'd have shot his ass in a minute. He'd try to hurt my family.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one to end on. That's a second attention getter we talked about.
Well, before you do end,
Yeah.
tell us about your current, the three loves of your life.
Huh?
Your grandson.
Oh, yeah, I love my grandsons.
What is it about the letter B, Kevin and Angel? What's up with that?
Well, Angel's, all her siblings are A's. She's got 5 brothers and sisters. They all start.
So
with
your
A.
grandkids all have to start with C's?
If Brody, Briggs, or Beau decide they want to go down that route, then yeah. But I think Briggs already said his son's going to be named. He's already got a name, Roger or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So he, the cool thing about my dad is he always came to all our games, me and my sister. So as we played sports growing up, and even as adults, come to our games. And now I've had to reel him in a little bit because he likes to say stuff at games that
You're like my dad. My dad would yell at all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, but he would be honest in making say something about a kid who just booted a ball or something. But the kid's family's sitting right there like, "Dad, you can't do that." But he comes and supports all their athletics. He's always there, and they love it. They love when Grandpa shows up.
Well, your mama showed me that little sign one time out there. Said he's only a kid. So
Yeah, they are. Well, no one held it against you. We knew it was coming from a good place. It was just I made him sit out in the outfield. Ironically, I told him because I was coaching Brody's team at the time when he gave it to him one time. And I said, "Dad, why don't you just sit out there? And you can say whatever you want. There's no parents out there." Now, he did it for a couple games, and then he came back up and sat with us again. But the ironic part is that's where I sit now.
Because you're doing the same thing?
Because, kind of. Because we can kind of say what we want out there, and no one's going to really check you on it.
Did you ever get on him while he was playing?
no, like I said, I got on a coach a couple of times because I didn't think he was using Kevin. Kevin was a talented individual, so. And I was telling the old boy that was coaching his softball team at church. And I got on his. He threatened to beat my ass.
Over church softball.
Yeah.
What was Kevin's best sport?
I think he enjoyed basketball more than anything.
That'd be my answer.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah. I was a little bit of a late bloomer, but
He liked golf too, so.
He's obsessive about both of them.
yeah.
Golf, especially these days.
We had some good times playing some golf.
Yeah. I got drunk a few times playing golf.
Hey, you had that, we called it jungle juice.
Yeah.
He'd bring a mixture of,
What's in jungle juice?
Who turned over the golf cart?
that wasn't you.
I know it won't be. It was Dooms.
Dooms turned over a golf cart, yes.
That sounds right.
Yeah, we'll have to get Dooms to tell that story one day. But what was in the jungle juice that you used to bring?
Oh, it was gin with grape juice and some grape wine and Tom Collins mix and a shot of bourbon.
Yeah.
Woo!
That'll do it.
That definitely sounds like a concoction to me. My goodness.
But it went down just as smooth as it could be.
The grape juice did that, probably.
Oh, yeah. I think it was the juice.
Robert, you remember Robert? He come up there one week. He took a couple of drinks of that. He said, "Shit, there ain't nothing in here. This ain't nothing in here." He got in the car, and before he could get to the bottom of the hill, Murray Francis had to take over.
Driving because it hit him.
Yes, Lord.
He didn't know what was coming.
No, he did. So just to end it, we'll end it on this. So if you got to tell your Brody, Briggs, and Beau's kids one thing about, I don't know, being successful in life, what would you tell them?
Work hard. Be honest. And treat people the way you would want them to treat you.
Yeah.
If everybody did that, we'd live in a much better world.
Wouldn't we?
No question.
Good words. You got anything else?
No.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes. And the good Lord has blessed me all my life.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, thanks for doing this, Mr. Flippen. I really appreciate it.
Well, let me tell you the high point.
All right.
When I was 10 years old, I got run over by a streetcar.
What?
Well, how did you forget this story?
Did you know this story?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I got hit in a streetcar at 25th and Venable Street. And it dragged me down the street underneath of it for about 3/4 of a block.
What?
Jeez.
So you got run? You didn't get run over by the wheels?
No, but the cow catcher,
Yeah.
I got up underneath of that. The wheel was right next to my head because there's sand dropping down there. And the guy that pulled me over my knee for streetcar, he said, "I ain't never heard a little fella cuss so much in my life." Man, let go of my damn leg.
That's 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's about right.
You got bruised up pretty bad, scraped up too, I imagine.
I had 4 or 5 stitches in my head, and like a strawberry all the way down my leg where it dragged the skin off of it.
That's all, huh? Jeez.
Sounds pretty bad.
Man, that's a good one to end on.
Especially since you'd never heard that story.
I've never heard that one.
This one right here, this scar, I got that when I was 2 years old.
You don't remember that then, do you?
Oh, I don't remember that. They tell me how it happened.
How was that?
John was riding me on his back, and he bent over, and I fell in the fireplace, hit that on a iron in the fireplace.
Yeah, I know that story. Not good. Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd also really appreciate if you'd rate and review us. You can find us at scodupodcast.com.